WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys, and welcome to the second video of this Samurai series from Signatory Vintage in cooperation with Kirsch Import here in Germany. So far I've tried the Casktype 2009, was not excited about it. What I'm going to try today is the Glentauchers 2009 with 63.2%. Next will be the Auchentoshen with 54.7, 2007. Triple distilled. We'll see what it's all about, and I still have the fear that the Koile will be my favorite one from 2007 with 59.1%, even though I'm not a peathead. So that's that. What am I going to compare it to? I'm going to pull out some big guns today. I have here from Gordon and MacPhail a Glentauchers distillery single malt from the Connoisseur's Choice 1999-2009, 11 years, 21 years. This was in a first fill sherry hogshead. This was in a first fill sherry butt. And this has 54.9 and this has 63.2. So, excuse me, don't talk and swallow at the same time. Alright, so what do we have here? We have here Whiskybase number 187156. And if you look at this, you can actually see a normal color for a sherried whiskey. It's not Coca-Cola, it's not black. It's actually a little bit of a brown type of a red moment. So this is vintage. So this was actually distilled on the 7th of May 2009, and it was bottled on the 15th of October 2020. 11 years old. First of all, Sherry Butt, cask number 900935, 621 bottles. Now, I started complaining about it being not dark enough compared to the other ones that were too dark. I paid 129 euros for this. At the moment, it actually is on sale in Germany at different shops for 189 euros, which is exactly the same cost here of this Connoisseur's Choice from Glentauchers. So this was distilled on the 4th of May. Sorry, this was distilled in 1999, and it was bottled on the 4th of May 2021. A first fill sherry hogshead, and it's only 312 bottles. This is also a German exclusive just for Kirsch. So hey, so Kirsch does a lot for us in Germany. I'm very, very thankful that it's doing this. 54.9%, and the recommended retail price is 189. Alright, so I'm going to pull up my tiny little book here because this is all the information I ever need. At the moment, at least I'm still learning. So what I did not know is that there were a lot of striking similarities between Glentauchers and Imperial. Imperial, we know a little bit about that. And they were both built at the end of the 19th century, so 1897 in this case. They came under the ownership of DCL, which later became Diageo. Then in 1925, they were both mothballed. And then the Allied Distillers, which later became Pernod Ricard, which is here the Cheves brothers, they bought the distilleries. They destroyed Imperial and built then on that same place the Munich, which I have actually visited from outside. Beautiful, beautiful distillery. And they actually put Glentauchers back into operation. So that's very, very nice. Basically, it's one of the lead malts for the Ballantine's blend. I was so stupid. I did not. There was three of the three leading malts for the Ballantine's were actually offered as a 15-year-old expression. 46%. I had little samples, and I gave them away. Wow, I should have tried them before I gave them away, but I didn't. I didn't buy the big bottles. I should have. Oh, well, my mistake. So, question of the day, what is your favorite Glentauchers? Now, the question is not easy to answer because we do not have any real distillery bottlings. Everything they do goes into the blending industry, and only you get some stuff from the independent bottlers out there. So, independent bottler, in this case, Signatory Vintage, in this case, Gordon MacPhail. Let's see which one's better. 11 years, 21 years of age. Now at the moment, 189. Used to be 129. This was 189. It's still available. On the nose, it's not bad. I get a little bit of a caramel. I get a little bit of a fruitiness. I get a tiny, tiny little bit of vanilla. I get some plum. Okay, on the nose, acceptable. Over here on the nose, oh yeah, dark, dark, good sherry moments. Oh, I'm talking almost Pedro Jimenez, PX. I'm talking Oloroso. I'm talking beautiful, beautiful moments of sherry and wood and chocolate and mocha. I'm just, this is good stuff. I'm really, really happy I bought a bottle of this. Yay. I'm not sure if I'm really happy about a bottle of this. Luckily, I do bottle share, so everything's already sold. I just need to do my videos. I need to fill up those sample bottles, need to send it out. And so then it's next bottle after that, next bottle after that, next bottle after that. There is no way in the world that I could be buying these bottles each day, drinking this much from it, and moving on to the next bottle. That's not the way things happen. The way things happen is I do bottle share. 13 people with basically 5 CL each get to have the opportunity to buy these so-called samples. I'm allowed to send them also over here in Germany with the mail. I am a registered business with whiskey selling privileges, but it's nothing special over here in Europe. Anyone can sign up and go to the business authority and say, hey, I want to do online whiskey deal. I want a business, and they're okay, good, pay your 25 euros and then make sure your taxes are right. It's that simple over here. Compared to America, we did not have prohibition, remember? We don't even have to have our labels approved by anyone. Did you know that? That's in Ireland, you need to have label approval now. And of course, America, you need to have label approval. I need to follow the guidelines of labels, and my third whiskey will be coming out this year. But hey, I don't need anyone from the government to approve my labels. Now, someone could say, hey, you did not conform to the regulations, they were wrong, and so on. I might have to withdraw it from the market and so on. But if it's sold, it's sold. And usually my bottles sell out within hours. And so no problem there. Not that I'm trying to do something wrong, but I do conform to all the regulations that I'm aware of, and yeah, we're constantly learning about the right things to do things, and that makes less bureaucracy and a little bit easier life for us independent bottlers. Yay! All right, let's try this. As I said, it's 63.2%, so it's going to be hot. Which it is. Now, if you just realized that the sound got much better, I must admit, dumb idiot Jason forgot to put on the microphone again. Turn it on. Now, usually, yeah, it's usually my fault. Sometimes it's a technical issue. I was watching Scotch Test Dummies today, and my favorite thing that Bart said was he would turn off the microphone for the tastings, for the review, and he would turn it on for the breaks. Actually, he had it backwards, the wrong way around. I'm not that stupid, Bart. I'm sorry. I just forget to turn it on sometimes. I did my video in German. Restart the camera, reset the scene, and then I forgot to push play. And it was just, okay, good, let's take a look at this. And then it's like, oh, look, it's not on. So I just turned it on. All right, this definitely needs a little bit of water. Now, this does not blow me away. I do get the plum. I do get a little bit of wood. It just is somewhat young. It's somewhat less complex than I expected. And I do know what I'm going to expect here. This is something that is a fabulous whiskey. This is a B whiskey. I'm not sure if it's a B or a B+, but it's a very, very beautiful whiskey, and it has a hard time keeping up with this. Is the Glentauchers better than the Craigellachie? Yes. Is it much better? A little bit. All right, so. Yeah. Okay, this is a solid C whiskey. I do get that plum, I do get a little bit of berries, I do get a little bit of wood, I have a little bit of vanilla, but it's very, very one tone, one sound, less complex, less variations, less transitions than I normally would expect. All right, so let's go over here. The Connoisseur's Choice from Gordon MacPhail. 21 years old. The nose just, absolutely a fantastic moment here. And on the palate, My first problem is this is actually somewhat sweet. This has less sweetness, a lot of wood. A lot of a sherry plum moment. This is really, really nice. A little bit even of molasses on the nose. Nice stuff. Wow. Very, very good. I like this a lot, and I'm really, really happy that I bought this. We could have actually dark fruits. We could have some cherries. We could have some dates. We could have some raisins, sherry, nuts, orange peel. Good stuff, and doesn't even need any water. All right, that's the best part about that with 54.9%, perfectly balanced. Over here, the 63.2%, ooh, hot. Not really what I like. All right, so my question of the day is, which is your favorite Glentauchers? I did not know that Glentauchers and Imperials are basically sisters. And I did not know that, what was the second fact I did not know? What did I learn today? What do I need to actually imprint into my brain here? Glentauchers. If I could do the alphabet, I'd be much better here. Okay, good. Yeah, I did know that it was Chevis Brothers with Pernod Ricard. They have a capacity of 4.2. They have 3 pairs of stills, and they're basically doing almost 3.9. So they're almost doing 24/7 over there. 18 mashes per week, a total of actually 4 million, not 3.9 in that. And, oh yeah, there was one thing I wanted to add here. Yes, that's the thing I didn't know. Glentauchers, Pernod Ricard has actually announced in February 2020 that they want to make that distilleries from Glentaucher carbon neutral. How are they going to do that? They're going to actually, now this is the good part of the video, by the way. The tasting is kind of like, oh, learn with Jason here. The good thing about that is they're going to turn their the stills. They're going to use biofuel that are green, that are carbon neutral. Now, if you go back to maybe the 1980s, you'll see that quite a few distilleries died. Now, of course, one of the things was the whiskey loch. There was just too much whiskey and not enough people drinking it. But who decided which distillery would be closed? And I'm sorry to tell all the geeks and all the fans out there, it was not due to taste. It was due to economical reasons. These are big businesses. It's all about money. And if you can remember back in the 1980s, I remember my stepfather, taking the car and having to fill it up, and it was like 4 times the normal price it was just months before, and how the price of oil quadrupled and almost tenfold higher and so on. And a lot of the distilleries back then were using oil. And so that was a problem because they imported oil into Scotland, very, very expensive. Costs of producing then whiskey was astronomical. And those those distilleries that could switch to gas. Those that already had gas, no problem. Those that couldn't switch to gas, you need to have a gas pipeline underground in order to use the gas to actually make the distillery. I was at a distillery just this week here on the weekend, and the guy said, we use as much gas here for our distillery as the rest of the 600-person village we're in. So they doubled their gas consumption just because of the distillery, because they need so much heat to produce whiskey compared to the village of 600 people they live in. All right. And so if that was oil, you'd be using a lot of oil, and it'd be very, very expensive. Now, the thing is, by 2050, of course, all of Europe wants to be carbon neutral. And imagine a distillery has not made that yet possible. Will it be closed? Will they need to buy up until then some type of carbon stocks or carbon issued permits and so on? At the moment, I think it's at 35 euros, what the EU just said per ton of carbon, and they wanted to put it up until 2050 up to 300 euros. 300 euros is a lot. Now, what I don't know, and I haven't researched this, maybe someone can do this for me. I know that 1 kilo of malted barley produces basically 1 bottle of whiskey. About 50%, that's about plus minus, all right? So a rule of thumb here. Now, how much CO2 does the yeast produce from 1 kilo of barley? So how much does one bottle of whiskey have on CO2 footprint just from the barley? Not the glass production, not the label production, not the transport production, and so on. Just the barley, just the production there and the fermentation. I'm going to look it up and find out, but if you could write it down and we can compare our notes, that'd be very, very great. And this is going to be the next chapter there. Many of the distilleries in the 1980s that were closed were oil and not gas, and that's the reason they closed them, because it was just too expensive to use them and to refurbish them and to actually create a value for money. And now we're going to actually have the same problem with our sustainability and our CO2 footprint with the distilleries in Scotland in the future. Now, by 2050, I'm over 80 years of age. I don't know if I'm really going to care, but my children, my grandchildren are going to care, and so it's very important that we think about this as well. All right. Oh, a little bit of information on the side here. That's why you come and watch WhiskyJason, because not just for the tastings of the whiskeys you'll never ever see, but because I'm learning and I try to share what I'm learning with you so you can learn as well with me. All the best, WhiskyJason here, and sorry about the microphone faux pas at the very beginning. All the best. See you soon. WhiskyJason here. Bye-bye.